I had one hand on the steering wheel and the other resting on her thigh when she dropped the bomb. Lauren looked out the window like we were on some Sunday drive, not heading toward a 6-week goodbye. "Zach," she said, almost too casual. "I think we should take a little break while I'm away." I blinked, thinking I misheard her over the hum of traffic. "A break from what?" I asked, eyes still on the freeway. "Just from the relationship, so I can figure things out. It's only 6 weeks. 6 weeks. That was the length of her college reunion tour across Europe. 6 weeks of backpack selfies, wine tastings in Tuscany, and shared hostels with the same group of friends she used to party with back in undergrad. I'd helped her plan it. Drove her to REI for that overpriced travel backpack. I paid for half the Airbnb in Santorini because I wanted her to have fun. Now she wanted a break? Before I could respond, the terminal came into view. She reached for her bag like nothing was wrong, smiled and said, "You're still gonna feed Bandit, right?" Bandit, our dog. Mine, really. But she always liked calling him ours. Parked. She unbuckled and leaned in for a kiss like it was all normal. I turned my head slightly, and it landed on my cheek. "You're upset," she said softly. "You just asked me for a break like you were ordering coffee." "I just think some space will be good. I'll call you when I land." I watched her walk into the terminal with a bounce in her step like she hadn't just stabbed me through the ribs with a smile. She turned at the checkpoint and waved. I didn't wave back. That night, I sat on the couch with Bandit snoring at my feet, staring at my phone. No text. No missed call. Nothing. The next morning, I tried to call her. Straight to voicemail. I opened Instagram. Her profile was gone. I thought it was a glitch until I checked from my work account. She'd blocked me. On everything. WhatsApp? Blocked. Facebook? Gone. Snapchat? Dead air. Venmo? She even removed me there. And that's when it clicked. The break wasn't a soft pause. It was an exit plan. The kind cowards use when they don't have the guts to say, "I'm done." I stood there in the kitchen, coffee going cold in my hand, and realized I wasn't heartbroken. I was furious. Furious that I'd been lied to. Furious that I'd been used. Furious that I'd bought her a travel wallet with RFID protection like an idiot trying to keep her safe while she planned her little disappearing act. By day 3, I stopped calling. By day 4, I stopped checking. By day 5, I called the venue and canceled the wedding. They kept the deposit, whatever. Cheaper than a divorce. Then I went home, took her box of things. Photos, dresses, the stupid bride-to-be, sash her friends gave her, and tossed it all in the spare bedroom with the door closed. I pulled her key off my ring. She didn't want to be mine? Fine. But she wasn't going to be part of my future anymore either. I didn't cry. I didn't drink. I didn't call her friends and ask what I did wrong. I did what a man does when someone walks out without warning. I locked the damn door behind them. The first 2 days I tried telling myself it was nerves. Jet lag. Maybe a bad connection overseas. I've never been to Europe, but I figured Wi-Fi isn't great in old castles or cobblestone towns. That excuse lasted exactly until I saw her tagged in a friend's post. Glasses of rose held high, some rooftop in Lisbon, everyone grinning like they hadn't a care in the world. Everyone but me. She looked happy. Genuinely happy. Not a single trace of a woman worried about the fiancé she'd blocked and ghosted. No mention of a break. No miss you. Just hashtags and fake laughs. I closed the app, logged out, deleted it from my phone. It was day 5 when I stood in the living room and looked at the stack of wedding invitations still sitting on the console table. Half addressed, ready to go. I grabbed them in a bundle and walked them straight out to the trash bin. Then I sat down, pulled up our wedding checklist on my laptop, and started killing it line by line like I was gutting a deer. Venue? Cancelled. Florist emailed. DJ texted. Registry wiped. The dress? That was her problem. I figured she could wear it to one of those Euro wine tastings she liked so much. And then I opened the shared lease application she had saved on my desktop. We were supposed to sign for a new apartment together the week she got back. Her clothes were already half in my closet, her favorite mug in my cabinet, her hair tie wrapped around the shift of my truck. That ended next. I called the landlord, told him to hold the unit. I'd be applying solo or not at all. He didn't ask questions, just said okay. That night, I boxed up everything she had in my apartment. Clothes, books, shoes, makeup bags, the stupid pastel journal she'd scribbled dreams into. All of it went into 3 boxes. I set them by the door, and I sat on the couch, Bandit at my side, listening to the wind rattle the back window. Not sad, just still. I didn't drink. I didn't rage. I just kept thinking, if she'd done this after we were married, after kids, after shared bank accounts, how much more would I have lost? 5 days of silence taught me more than 5 years of dating ever could. So I made a decision. This wasn't a break. It wasn't a timeout. It was a damn escape hatch she ran through while I was busy planning a life. And I wasn't gonna leave the door cracked open just in case she changed her mind. She chose silence. She could live in it. I went to the bedroom, pulled the engagement ring box from my dresser, and slid it into my glove box. By the next morning, I'd called the caterer and got my final refund. When they asked for a reason, I just said, change in plans. It was the first time I smiled in a week. On day 9, my phone rang from a number I didn't recognize. For a second, I almost ignored it, but something made me answer. Hey you, she said, like we'd just spoken yesterday. No apology, no explanation, no mention of blocking me. Just 3 words, hey you. I didn't say anything at first. Then she added, just landed in Rome. I can send you my flight details for when I get back. I let the silence stretch. Then, calm as a lake in winter, I said, and what does that have to do with me? That finally broke her rhythm. She stuttered. Zach, don't be like that. I told you I needed space. I hung up, didn't scream, didn't beg for answers, just tapped block and set the phone down. That afternoon, I opened the family group chat, the one we'd made for the wedding planning. It had everyone. My parents, her parents, cousins, friends, the maid of honor, the best man, even her grandmother who still typed in all caps. I posted one message. Hey everyone, the wedding is canceled. Lauren decided she needed space and blocked all contact while overseas. I was left with no explanation for over a week. I'm sharing this now so you don't book flights, hotels, or make plans based on an event that's no longer happening. I appreciate your understanding. Boom. Within minutes, messages started pouring in. Her cousin Derek. What? Are you okay, man? My sister. Wait. She ghosted you and then just called like nothing happened? Even her grandmother chimed in. I never liked that girl anyway. Lauren hadn't been in the chat for days. Probably muted it. But someone must have tipped her off because 20 minutes later, I got a string of texts from another number. Why would you embarrass me like that? We said we were taking a break. I didn't block you, it must have been a mistake. Can we talk? So now the break had turned into a misunderstanding. And suddenly, I was the bad guy for telling the truth? Nope, I didn't reply. I screenshot the texts. Then I posted them in the group chat. Let everyone see how her tone shifted in private versus public. No spin, no editing, just raw evidence. And then I wrote, when someone disappears and resurfaces pretending nothing happened, that's not love. It's manipulation. I'm not playing that game. The chat lit up again. Some were quiet. Some offered support. A few clearly didn't know what to say. But I said my piece. I wasn't going to let her rewrite history 6 weeks from now with some story about mutual decisions and timing. She walked away. I just made sure everyone saw the door slam shut behind her. It started with screenshots. Someone forwarded them to me. Texts from a private group chat Lauren had with her bridesmaids. She was telling them I overreacted, that I panicked when she asked for space, and that I was emotionally immature for canceling the wedding without a conversation. According to her, I hadn't been blocked. I had assumed the worst. And her new number? Just a coincidence. The woman ghosted me across 5 platforms, stayed silent for over a week, and now she was the victim. Classic. What really twisted the knife was the way she painted it. Zach was always intense, she wrote. I just needed to breathe for a few weeks before committing forever. That doesn't make me a monster. Maybe not. but lying and trying to spin the truth in a private circle made her damn close. I didn't respond right away. I waited, watched, let her feel safe playing the misunderstood martyr. Then I posted one clean response in the wedding group chat. For those hearing a different story, Lauren blocked me on all platforms the same day she left. I didn't assume anything. I watched it happen in real time. I gave it 5 days. No call, no text, no email. Then I canceled. That's not emotional immaturity. That's self-respect. Silence for a beat. Then the messages started flowing. My Uncle Dan. You don't owe anyone a damn explanation, son. My cousin Tara. I'd have done the same thing. Actually, I'd have done worse. Even her college friend Grace finally said something. Lauren told us you were being controlling. Now I see the other side. But the message that hit hardest came from Jenna, one of Lauren's bridesmaids. She sent it privately. I knew something was off. She told us not to message you because you might blow up. That didn't sit right. You handled this better than most men I know. Then Megan, her closest ally, jumped into the main chat like a PR rep in damage control mode. Guys, let's have some compassion. Lauren's been under a lot of stress with the trip and planning. She probably didn't mean for it to come off that way. I let her finish. Then I dropped the last card. She planned a wedding with me, planned a trip without me, and planned a disappearing act while I was still unpacking her boxes. Stress doesn't cause betrayal. Choices do. That shut it down. No more defenders. No more spin. She wanted to paint herself as the one with cold feet and a fragile heart. But I wasn't the guy to sit quiet while someone rewrote the ending. I wasn't gonna let her drag my name through the dirt just because she thought I'd keep being the nice guy. She made a choice. And now I had the pen. The first call came from Rachel, Lauren's sister. I didn't answer. Let it ring, let it die. She followed it up with a text. Can we talk? Just 5 minutes. It's important. I gave her 5 minutes. Maybe she'd surprise me. She didn't. Zach, I know this looks bad. She started, voice soft, like she was easing into a funeral speech. But Lauren's been struggling. She wasn't trying to hurt you. She was scared. Scared people call? I said flatly. They don't vanish. She didn't know how to say it. And then it spiraled. She regrets it, really. She cried on the phone with me for 2 hours. Rachel, I said, you don't get to cry over a house fire you set yourself. That's not grief. That's guilt. She went quiet. Then, the guilt trip rolled in. You guys were good together. She loved you. Please don't throw that away over one mistake. One mistake. Ghosting your fiancé across every channel, then spinning the story in private chats, is not one mistake. That's a calculated choice. I ended the call with 4 words. Tell her to heal. An hour later, her mom Lisa called. Same pitch, different packages. Zach, you've always been like a son to us, she said. This is all just really unfortunate. Can we meet and talk? I think we've talked enough, I replied. She's heartbroken, she added quickly. She doesn't know how to fix it. Maybe you could just talk. No pressure, just closure. Closure? That's what my silence was. That's what her blocked number was. I told her gently but firmly, Lisa, I didn't walk away. Your daughter did. And now I'm just respecting her decision. Later that evening, Tom, her dad, called. The guy who once shook my hand and said, if you hurt her, I'll bury you. Funny how the tide turns. Now he was saying, you're both young. Mistakes happen. Be a man and forgive. That's what marriage is, weathering storms. I stared at the ceiling for a second, then answered slowly, forgiveness doesn't mean I open the same door to the same knife. Come on, Zach, he sighed. You're being harsh. No, I said. I'm being clear. He hung up after that. Probably told Lauren I was too stubborn to listen. But they didn't get it. This wasn't about bitterness. I wasn't angry because I'd been dumped. I was angry because I'd been erased. And now that I was finally visible again, now that the consequences had hit, they all wanted to pretend I was part of the family again. Nah, I'm not the kind of man you keep on a shelf until it's convenient. They tried to guilt me into forgetting the silence. But I wasn't wired that way. Guilt doesn't move me. Truth does. And the truth is, you don't come back from ghosting a man who was building you a future. You don't earn your way back with tears someone else cries on your behalf. Do you want forgiveness? You start by accepting the lock on the door is permanent. I thought the family would be the end of it. I was wrong. The next morning, I got a text from Katie, one of the bridesmaids who hadn't said a word during the group chat drama. Hey Zach, I know this is awkward, but Lauren's really torn up. She's afraid you'll never forgive her. She's not perfect, but she didn't mean to hurt you. I stared at the message for a full minute before deleting it. Not replying. Just delete. Then came Mark, Lauren's cousin. We'd grabbed beers together more than once, worked on his old Camaro in my garage. He always joked that he looked up to me. Now he was texting me like a grief counselor. Man, I know she messed up, but can't you just meet her halfway? She's been crying every night. People crack under pressure. Pressure? I had pressure too. I'd been juggling a full-time job, a mortgage, and planning a wedding solo for the past month. I didn't disappear. Still, I gave him a call. Figured he deserved that much. Mark, I said, you ever call someone and hear nothing back for 5 straight days? He paused. No. Do you ever propose to a woman and then get told at the airport she wants a break, followed by complete radio silence while she parties across Europe? Another pause. No. Then don't tell me how to handle this. You weren't the one left staring at a blocked screen wondering if you were mourning a breakup or just losing your damn mind. He tried to apologize, but I'd already hung up. The next day it was Aunt Cheryl. I hadn't seen her since a barbecue 2 years ago. Lauren is going through a lot emotionally. I think she regrets how things happened. Maybe a conversation would help both of you. I almost laughed. Was there a Facebook post I missed? Did Lauren create a sign-up sheet? Volunteers to contact Zach, so I don't have to? What really ticked me off wasn't the fact that these people were reaching out. It was that she still wasn't. She was orchestrating it like a political campaign, deploying emissaries while keeping her own hands clean. She wanted me to be the one to make the first move, to break and crawl back so she could pretend she hadn't done real damage. But I wasn't playing that game. I replied to Aunt Cheryl with one sentence. If Lauren wants to talk, she knows where I live and what she did. Then I blocked her too. I wasn't mad anymore. I was insulted. Insulted that she thought I was so weak I'd fold just because the voices multiplied. But volume isn't substance. And guilt isn't redemption. Every new text just made it clearer. She wanted the return of our relationship without the return of accountability. And that's not how I operate. You don't send people in your place when you've shattered trust. You show up yourself. And she hadn't. The letter arrived on a Thursday, tucked in a cream-colored envelope with cursive handwriting I knew too well. No return address, just my name, Zachary Collins, centered neatly like she still had a right to call me that. I didn't open it right away. Let it sit on the table next to my keys for a full hour while I brewed coffee and fixed Bandit's food. When I finally opened it, I knew right away it wasn't an apology. Not really. For handwritten pages. Blue ink. No tear stains, just carefully chosen words trying hard to sound raw. I know I hurt you, she wrote. I didn't know how to explain what I was feeling before I left. I panicked. I just needed time to figure out if I was ready for everything. Marriage, commitment, forever. Then came the part that turned my stomach. I booked us a couples therapy session for the week I return. I think we can work through this if we're both willing. No request. No question. Just a plan she made, assuming I'd still be standing in the same spot she left me. And then the kicker, tucked in like a harmless detail. I still have my key. I was thinking I'd drop by next weekend and we could talk more in person. I folded the letter carefully. Didn't rip it. Didn't curse. Just walked to the drawer, pulled out the spare keys and checked. Hers was gone. She'd kept it. 6 weeks gone. No calls. No accountability. But she'd kept the key to my life like a backdoor escape route. I drove straight to the hardware store, bought a full new lock set, front, back, and mailbox. Spent that evening swapping them out while Bandit sat on the porch like a guard dog that finally had something to guard. After that, I wrote my own letter. Just one page. No fluff. No emotion. Lauren, I read your letter. I understand that you've realized some things. I also realized that I've done my own thinking. You made a choice when you left, and you doubled down when you cut me out. That silence wasn't healing, it was abandonment. And now that the cost of that choice is catching up, you want to renegotiate the terms. But that's not how I live.
Subscribe and stay one step ahead of cheaters. And trust me, the next story makes this one look like a fairy tale.